Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah, and if this is your first time on my channel, you're welcome. I talk about tech and also my journey in being a software developer here in Ghana. If this is something that would interest you, please go to subscribe to this channel and you will like it. So let's get into today's video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some tips on how I manage to curb stress and burnout in the field of work. So just to give some kind of context on what burnout really is, if you don't know it, is the kind of stress mentally or physically that one person goes through when doing any work professionally. So when we talk about burnout, we are saying that it's the stress that you are going through as a result of the work that you're doing. And in tech, it is very common because of the magnitude of pressure and thoughts and reasoning and a whole mental whatever we want to call it that we put in the kind of work that we do, and this can put a lot of stress on your emotions and how you think as a person, which is why as a person in tech you should be able to learn to manage stress and also reduce burnout as much as possible. So these tips I hope can help you to be able to manage your time and also help you to manage stress very well so that you don't get burnt out too quickly. So the very first thing I'm going to be mentioning is learning to communicate your timeline. So in the sense of learning to communicate your timelines, you know what you can do and how fast you can do it. So learn to say that, okay, this task is given to me and I have let's say a maximum of 2 days to complete this task. You should learn to say that, okay, hello manager, I can do this task but I would require more time, let's say a week instead of the 2 days that is given. I know that a lot of managers are very understanding in this sense because they don't want you to do a task that doesn't work, so they would rather give you enough time to be able to perform a task which actually works. And this is something that comes in very helpful, and it has helped me a lot to be able to avoid burnout of trying to do everything within the shortest possible time when I know I cannot do it within that time. So it really helps that you learn to communicate that you can do this task but then you would require more time, and I believe that a lot of managers or project managers can be able to understand you when you learn to communicate these things. But if you don't communicate it, then it seems as though you know what to do and you know how fast you can do it, and then everybody is going to be expecting that you deliver within that set time, which is not good because you are going to end up delivering very shitty work which doesn't work in the first place, and you end up stressing yourself out in a very, very bad way, which is not good for your mental health as well. So the next thing I'm going to be pointing out is learning to avoid making outrageous promises. So as a young software developer, you are always tempted to choose the next challenge, choose the next opportunity to show that you can do a certain task. Mind you, in the field of tech, nobody is competing with you to perform a particular task fast. And this is one thing I learned when I started my role as a software developer, because you're working as a team most of the time. You're working with other people, and it is not a matter of you finishing first or you finishing fast. It is always about the team delivering the product that is requested for and making sure that the product that you have delivered actually works. It doesn't matter if you finish it fast or you are the first to finish the task. And this is something that you can actually learn from me, that don't make a promise before your deadline. Don't try to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation where you put a lot of pressure on yourself and you end up not delivering a good product, and at the end of the day your product becomes very shitty, right? And you should remember that for every task that is given there's a deadline, but it can always be adjusted, and it is up to you to be able to work with whoever is in charge of the project to be able to deliver that task that is given to you. And making outrageous promises on yourself only puts yourself in too much very unnecessary pressure, and it is not really healthy for you. Always work with a manager to be able to deliver on a set date or at a set time. Don't try to put yourself above everyone or try to move too fast because you feel that you want to be able to deliver a certain task very fast. It is not about who is fast, it's about the team that is working on the product being able to deliver the product that is being requested. And this is something that you can literally learn from me right here. So let's move on to the next one. So the third point I'm going to be pointing out is scheduling. Now, if you don't know how to schedule your time, that is really going to be very difficult for you, because you have to learn to schedule your time according to the tasks that you have. So let's take a typical scenario of being given a task to build a website for a client. You have the front end and the back end, and the front end has different parts to it. The backend has different functionalities to add to it, facing the APIs, doing the connecting to the databases and everything. They have very different components to the major task that is being given to you. And one of the things that you have to learn to do is learn to schedule your time according to the task that is given. So one of the things that I do personally is that whenever I'm given a task, I learn to break down the task into smaller components, like very small chunks of tasks that I can handle, let's say in a day, and I make sure that I handle those things within that day and make sure that I do them very well. I try my best to schedule the time that, let's say I have 5 components of a task to handle in a day. I make sure that if for no reason at all, I should be able to do more than 3 of those tasks. And this is something that has really helped me, because then I'm able to set myself up to a certain challenge and push myself to meeting the challenge of completing that task for the day. Then on the next day, I open another chapter of completing different parts of the task, and this really helps you to stay motivated to go ahead, because then you're able to finish a section of a task and then move on to the next one, so you don't get too bored on staying on one topic where you are stuck and you don't know what to do. And another thing about scheduling is that it should be communicated with your manager. So whenever you are on a task, you should learn to say that, okay, I have this task and I've decided that I'm going to finish this part of the task today. And I believe that learning to schedule your time this way will help you to avoid burnout and also keep your body calm and your emotions fresh whenever you are on a task. So on to my next point is the topic of asking questions, learning to ask questions when you are stuck. This is one of the things that I have actually learned to accept, that in the tech field or in a software development space, learning to ask questions is not a weakness. It doesn't mean that you are dumb. It is actually a very good habit as a software developer or as a person in tech. And learning to ask questions shouldn't be difficult for anyone who is trying to start out as a software developer. Being able to ask questions doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. You just need clarity, and you need clarity to be able to perform the task that you are on. Most of the time, even asking the dumbest question doesn't even mean that you are dumb. You are just seeking clarity. And sometimes I ask the dumbest questions ever, and I go back and I'm like, did you really just ask that? Yes, but I mean, don't always go around asking very dumb questions. When you know the answer, just go ahead and do it. But I'm trying to say that allow yourself to ask questions. Don't always hold back the urge to ask a question. And you should realize that the more you hold back on asking questions, the more you stall the progress of the task that is being given to you. So learning to ask questions should come in very handy to you. You should learn to ask questions, and the right type of questions to the right kinds of people. So don't go about just asking any random person any question. You have to be direct about what you want and what you don't understand. And one of the things I have also learned to embrace is that in a sense of asking questions, it's always advisable to present what you know as at the time that you're asking the question. So say I'm stuck on a CSS project, right? I will go to, let's say, my lead developer and say, I have done this and it's not working. What do you recommend? It's always advisable to let the person know what you have tried so far. So one of the things that I'm always asked when I go asking questions is that, have you Googled it? Have you tried to search on it online? And these are the things that you have to, even though you are searching online, if you still don't understand, go ahead and ask the questions that you have, and then point out that you've searched for this and then you have done this research and still the understanding is not clear, or you're not getting the answer that you want. And it's very, very helpful if you learn to ask questions at the right time. Don't always wait till it's almost time to deliver the project and then you come asking questions. That way you become very annoying. But learn to ask questions in time so that you can be able to make progress on the task that is being given to you. Another thing I also want to point out is that even though we have the liberty to ask a lot of questions, it doesn't mean that we should always rush to the nearest help whenever there's a problem. You should always learn to, try to solve some of the problems on your own, but don't be stuck on those problems. Even though you are also trying to prove yourself that you can do this, or that you are trying to put in the effort to try to solve a problem, don't stall the project because of where you are stuck. Learn to ask questions, because whenever you have a question, you should realize that someone has already solved the question that you have, and it doesn't take a lot of effort in trying to get to that person to seek for help. And this is something that I think that you should be mindful of in your journey as a software developer. So lastly, learn to understand the task that is being given to you, and learn to understand what is expected of you. So don't just go jumping on a ticket when it's assigned to you, or on a task when it's assigned to you. Understanding the project will help you to be able to understand what exactly is expected of you, and will also help you to not deliver something which is way different from what is being expected of you. And in summary, all that I've mentioned boils down to having great communication skills, being able to communicate effectively what is expected of you, what is given to you, where you are lost. So let's say you are lost somewhere, or you have a blocker, right? And you don't know how to explain it. How do you expect someone to help you, or how do you expect to get help on what you are stuck on? So you need to learn to communicate effectively what is really going on the task that is being given to you, and this will go a long way in trying to help you keep your balance and reducing stress and burnout as much as possible. I hope that this was helpful to you. Please do also subscribe to my channel and like this video, comment and share with your friends, and invite more people into this fraternity, because I think it's getting very interesting and we are a growing family. So do also subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Stay blessed. Bye.